my audience. Choosing the right person or persons to watch your children is very crucial and frustrating. You're entrusting a stranger with your kid's life, and that is scary. I've seen this firsthand, growing up with my mom doing in-home childcare, as well as my first job being at a daycare center. Knowing they're in good hands in a comfortable environment, that you're paying for the kids to get the care that your child deserves, and that your provider is qualified are key factors when looking for a daycare. In-home daycare is where you will find all of these things. The atmosphere at a center, you are dealing with large numbers of children, meaning your kid's going to get sick twice as often. You're also dealing with different providers throughout the day due to them only being able to work 8-hour shifts. When you drop off in the morning, you're going to drop off with one person and pick up with a different person. And how are they supposed to know how your kid's morning was if the other person didn't specifically say exactly? At a center, they're more of a cookie cutter care. It's not one-on-one with your child. It's the same care that the next child got. And they're more of a commercial institutional setting. At an in-home daycare, you're dealing with a smaller group of children that are getting personalized care and attention. They're in a familiar surrounding. They're same provider when you pick up and drop off, and you may end up running into their kids. Your child's receiving home cooking in a home-like atmosphere, which makes it more of like a home away from home for your child. Makes it more comfortable for both them and you. Cost-wise, centers are more expensive. An average cost for an infant or child is $972 a month. They range anywhere from $380 to $15,564 a month. And in-home daycare is cheaper. Infants cost an average of $650, and preschoolers about $636. Next to the atmosphere and the costs of in-home versus a daycare center comes their licensing and trainings that they require. In a center, they do have prerequisite, basically, hours that they need to have, but nowhere does it state that they need continued education. Teachers are required at a center to have 4,160 hours as working as an assistant teacher and 24 credited hours in a related field. That's not any specific trainings as to first aid and such. As an assistant teacher, you need to have 2,800 hours as an aide and 12 credits in working in a related field. And aides are only required to be under the supervision of teachers. When I worked at my daycare center years ago, I did not have any requirements. I was basically filled out the application and put into a room. I had CPR and first aid already due to getting that from school. But the one requirement that it did state was that I was supposed to be under supervision of a teacher at all times. I wasn't. They'd leave me at home, leave me with the kids all the time. So then going to an in-home daycare, you are required to have, before even starting off, you are required to have child growth and development and behavioral guidance, supervising for safety, sudden unexpected infant death, which used to be SIDS, abusive head trauma, all yearly trainings. So at a home daycare, your provider is getting yearly trainings, at least 16 hours of yearly trainings and yearly continuing education. They are required to have first aid and CPR up to date every 2 years. If they're transporting the kids, they need to have the child transfer passenger restraint, which is a 5-year expires every 5 years. And then another requirement that they have is the food program training, which monitors what foods the kids are eating, making sure it's healthy foods, no processed foods, such things like that. So different from a center, they're actually doing these trainings that are going to benefit the provider as well as your child. The provider is also learning things that are going to benefit your child when they are needed. So in the first 3 years of life are most important for brain development. The atmosphere in an in-home daycare will be more beneficial for your child's upbringing. It will not break the bank, and the provider is committed to staying up to date on trainings and will bring you more peace of mind while you're at work and trusting them to fully care for your child. At an in-home daycare, you as well as your child will feel like just another part of the family. And here's my audience who loved watching me ever so dearly all semester long.